And hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's the day after the disastrous budget and we've already heard from Rachel Reeves. Some of the interviews that she's been in since the budget was announced have been absolutely appalling in typical labor fashion. But now we've seen some of karma. Kistema has spoken out for the first time since, of course, this disaster budget where labor have essentially gone and breached their manifesto pledges and in true Kistema fashion takes no accountability whatsoever, tries and gaslights despite the interviewers going absolutely nuclear on him. Remember, labor in their manifesto pledge promised not to raise taxes on working people. Now, although headline tax rates weren't formally raised, the budget did introduce fiscal changes that push the tax burden on many working and middle-income households, a move critics are calling a stealth tax, so they know what they've done. While it's not formally raising headline rates, it does force working people to contribute more, as they keep on saying in their own words, and of course sees them pay more tax and see less of their own money. So in my book, that is a manifesto breach. Let's have a little listen to Karma trying to explain himself as angry interviewers go in on him. But as always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So first things first, let's go to Sky News. Earlier on today, we've seen this interviewer, of course, asked questions to Rachel Reeves, and she does kind of lose the plot with him and gives him some home truths. You said before the election you wouldn't have to tax people more, you wouldn't cut spending, and you would improve the country through growth public services. And you've gone back on your word. JP Morgan this morning, you'll have seen the announcement, a £4 billion investment on the back of the budget. You said during the election that you wouldn't be able to pay for a lift in the child benefit cap. You said it's a difficult thing. I want to put it in my manifesto. We can't. I'm being honest with the public. We can't afford it because I don't want to put people's taxes out. You've done exactly the opposite. You've lost the confidence of this. Let me answer that direct. Let me answer that direct. Let me answer that, Beth. I absolutely do believe that we've got to lift children out of poverty. We've had a 2-child cap in place for the best part of 10 years. The net result of that is hundreds of thousands of children have been living in poverty. That has a massive impact on their health. Go to any hospital, ask them, what is the link between poverty and health? There it's a direct link. And those children will not have the opportunity to go as far as their talents will. I'm not going to apologize for lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. I'm proud that this Labor government's done more on child politics than any government has ever done. Prime Minister, final question. You said you would do politics differently. You would put country before party. Instead, you have done today something your party wanted to save your own skin. You are not a government of service. You're a government of service. I don't know how many interviews we've done between us, but I have repeatedly to you and everybody else for years said, I want a Labor government to drive down child poverty. This is not a decision of the last few weeks or months. I have said that from the get-go. It is one of its a moral mission. It is a personal mission. You and I have had interviews where I said, I'm determined to drive down child poverty. It is impossible to argue that this is a position that's been adopted just in the last few weeks. It's been my long-standing ambition, and I'm proud to be the Prime Minister that's done more on child poverty than any Prime Minister ever. And for those working people that you've just raised their taxes, what do you say to them? 3/4 of families that have children in poverty are working. families. They are the working poor in modern Britain, and I want to end that, so no more massive tax rises afterwards. Well, we've done a lot to stabilize the economy. You've seen the headroom in the economy, and you've seen the market reaction to it. So it's clear that others think that the right measures have been put in place. No one does care. No one does. As we know, this just benefits people that are on benefits, and it is a massive slap in the face to working people. Let's have a little look at another interview. This is the headline. Karma snaps back at Christopher Hope after being presented with damning GB News poll. Let's have a little look. The overwhelming majority of GBN News viewers tell us they think they're worse off from the budget. What's your message to them now? They feel you've ruined their Christmas. Well, we have asked everybody to make a contribution to the necessary decisions and the fair decisions for our country. But what I can say to your viewers is that money is going to protect our NHS, which will be a huge concern of theirs to make sure that when they and their families need it, I hope they don't over Christmas, but when they do, that it is protected for them. It's going into our schools to make sure every child can go as far as their talent will take them. And I know, for your viewers, that'll be really important. But also, it's going into the measures that we're taking to drive down the cost of living. We've frozen rail fares, frozen prescription charges, and now yesterday we announced £150 on average off all energy bills right across the country. For many of your viewers, that'll be welcome news, because it's one of the bills they worry most about if they're amongst the 6 million of the poorest families. That's on top of the 150 that we've already taken off. So they're the principles behind the decisions that we took. But Prime Minister, you're raising taxes and giving the money from working people to those on benefits. How could that be right? No, it's going to our NHS. It's going to our schools, and it's going on cost of living measures. But I won't apologize for the fact we are also lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. I don't want to live in a country where children pay the price in poverty, and 3/4 of the families in which children are living in poverty are working families. They're the working poor. The other thing I'd say, because we're in a hospital yesterday, is if you go to the NHS and ask them, they will say there's a direct link between child poverty and children coming into hospitals. So we take the pressure off the NHS. So I'm not going to apologize for taking children out of poverty. It's desperately needed. Now the truth is that Kay tries to come across as sincere here, that he's taking children out of poverty. He's not. He was right back in the summer that he can't afford it and would need to raise taxes, and he said he wouldn't want to do that to working people. He's done that. The reason why he's done this is making as if he cares about children that are in poverty at this moment in time. He doesn't. He cares about the liberal and rogue left in his party that are trying to oust him at this moment in time. He did this to save his own skin. Simple as that. Kay is just doing it to save himself. Buy him some time. And even that, the budget is not going to allow everyone to be happy. Maybe takes a little pressure off of him with inside his own party. But simply he is he's buying himself some time. And that's why he did it, because he came out for many years speaking about this and said that he would be able to, because he'd have to tax working people more, and he has taxed working people more. And I also have a theory on who this benefits the most, actually, in terms of what individuals are having mass amounts of children. But regardless, this happened now. And after this, of course, the Prime Minister spokesperson also came out and stated about if they're going to raise taxes even further a little bit later on. They refused to comment on this. They probably learned the lessons that they will come back once again and try and tax more. But Starmer and Rachel Reeves, trying to defend that they have kept to their manifesto commitments as they didn't sort of raise headline tax rates. However, as we can see, it's a stealth tax, and I see it really, and many others see it as a de facto manifesto breach. So yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on this one down there in the comments section below. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. This